This is Shred, and today we're going to learn all 7 modes of the major scale in record time. Now, modes are a confusing topic because honestly, they're taught wrong. But in this video, you'll learn the right way to think about these sacred tones. It's not that hard, by the way. We'll cover 3 primary metrics for each mode: the emotional quality, tendency tones, and the primary chords hidden within each scale. Now, if you're interested in music theory and composition, you got to check out my Riff Lord Challenge class. We'll write 8 riffs in 8 different metal genres: progressive metal, neoclassical metal, medieval metal, thrash metal. If you've ever struggled with writer's block or getting inspired, or maybe even just having the motivation, this is the class for you. Now, this class starts November 5th, and you can book a free call with me below to get all the details. Can't wait to meet you. Now, step 1, let's talk about what a mode actually is. It's just a scale. So a scale is a series of notes that connects an octave. And the best way to think about modes is on the piano keyboard. We start here with a C note. And if you just walk through the scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, you get back to C right here. And that is the major scale. That's also known as the Ionian Mode. Those two terms are interchangeable. And what a mode is when you start on a different note within the scale. Like, let's say we still play all of those white notes I just laid out. Forget about these black notes. Those don't even exist. But let's say we started on the second pitch of the C major scale, which is D right here. And then we just played the same sequence of notes: D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then we stopped up here on D. That's what a mode is. So that would be the D Dorian mode. Now you can start on any degree within the C major scale to get a different mode. Let's say you started on the 3rd degree, which would be E right here. Same drill applies. Just play the white notes: E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and then we stop on E this time. That would be E Phrygian. So that's all a mode is. It's like a scale within a scale. You're just starting and stopping on a different point within the scale, but you're playing the exact same notes. Now, this is going to be crazy because I'm going to go through each one of the 7 modes and really lay it out for you. So let's get into Guitar Pro here. And we'll title this Modes of the Major Scale. Now we'll start with the first mode, which is Ionian, and we'll do this in E. So I'm going to start, I'm going to start here on this E note, and that's an E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, and then we've got D sharp, and we're back to E. So those 7 tones, that's the E Ionian mode. And this scale is full of hope. It's very uplifting. It's happy. Let's just hear what that sounds like. Beautiful. And what I might even actually do here is turn on a drone. So that drone will give us a point of reference. It's a foundation so that we can really hear the emotional quality of each pitch. And in the Ionian mode, let me put that in here, E Ionian, there's some key tendency tones that really make the sound what it is. One of them is the major 3rd here, G sharp, and another really important tone is the major 7th, D sharp. And I'll tell you what, let's listen to this over the drone. This is kind of fast. Let me turn the tempo down here. Let's go to 60. There you can really get the emotional sound of the mode. And that's the key word when it comes to modes, is everyone has its own unique emotional language. Now, step 2, when it comes to learning the modes, is the primary chords. So the primary chords in E Ionian, you're going to have your 1 chord, which is an E major. And I'll put the chord symbols in as we go here. Then we go to the 4 chord. Whoops. There we go. Which is A. Oh, yeah, it's a very calming, soothing sound. Then the 5 chord comes next. What a gorgeous sound there. And I'm going to keep the low pitch there in every single one of these chords, the tonic, because that gives us that tonal foundation. And then we'll just go back to the 1 chord at the end here. Now I want us to listen to the beauty of this progression. Now that's the secret. If you're struggling to use modes or to understand them, chances are it's because you haven't made a harmonic connection, and you're not going to be able to play the scale in the right place unless you understand how it pairs with the harmony. So that's the secret with modes. Now let's move on to the Dorian mode. The Dorian mode is fascinating because it's a mixture of dark and light. It's the bittersweet mode. Think about it as what I'm thinking Pink Floyd, right? Pink Floyd uses this scale in songs like Great Gig in the Sky. And it's a very charming sound. So we're going to go back to E. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to copy and paste that major scale, or the Ionian mode, from the first example so that we can really see the difference. And the other thing I'm going to do actually is get rid of these key signatures, because I just realized this is going to help us see the accidentals better. So let's get rid of the key signature here. Okay, now to make your major scale Dorian, what we're going to do is flat the 3rd. So that's a really chord tendency tone right there, the minor 3rd. We're going to keep the major 6th because that is a part of, that's the sweet part of the bittersweet in Dorian. And then we're going to flat the 7th. So we're going to take that down to D. Okay, so this is E Dorian. And this is such a magical sound. Let's listen to this over the drone. Kind of like mystical and magical. Now the chord progression for E Dorian is so good. You're gonna love this. We're gonna hit an E minor. That's our minor 1 chord. Then what I like to do is come to an A, so you can see the commonality between the major scale in this. And I like to do a little sus there. I know that's a bit sus. And then we're going to resolve it to just a straight up A. So I'm going to copy that A. And then we'll go back to the 1 chord E minor. So that's A. And back to E minor. So let's hear this progression. If you're interested in writing any kind of medieval music, you know, dancing minstrels in the forest of enchantment, this is your go-to sound. The fair maidens await, you know, your hot licks. You're gonna go save them in the castle tower. Has like a heroic quality to it. Okay, let's move on to the Phrygian mode. That's the 3rd mode of the major scale. And I'm going to copy and paste this Dorian scale so that we can really see what the key differences are. So Phrygian is just like Dorian, except we're going to flat the 2nd degree. So take that down from F sharp to F. And the other thing we're going to do here is take the major 6th degree and make that a flatted 6th degree. Okay? And here this is going to be E Phrygian. Now let's listen to this over the drone. Wow. That is just haunting, dark, brooding. There's like this ominous tension on the horizon. What a great sounding scale. You can hear this scale in action in Megadeth's Symphony of Destruction. Okay, now there's a really killer chord progression that comes from the Phrygian mode, and it's E minor. So let's get our E minor in here, and then check this out. This makes it really easy on you. You just move that shape up a half step basically, and it's like playing an F chord but leaving the top two strings open. If you can picture that F bar chord but just don't bar it, then you'll have that sound. So this is kind of like a Spanish flamenco sound that you'll hear. Check it out. Just let that sink into your soul. Just a rich, rich, evil vibe. Just an ancient wickedness. And it almost has like a sensual undercurrent. Okay, we'll just double that up over here. Okay, let's move on to the majestic and full of light and hope Lydian mode. Actually, what I'm going to do is take the major scale and I'm going to copy that over so we can see the key differences in the tendency tones. Now, I guess I didn't so in Phrygian, I guess I kind of did do this. We have that flat second degree, which is really important, and the flat sixth. So in Lydian, the key difference here is instead of a regular fourth degree that we had in Ionian, we're going to sharp that. You can hear that already. Listen to how just evil that sounds against the drone. That's a tritone, the augmented fourth. The devil in music divides the octave with 6 half steps. That's exactly the middle of the octave. And if you play that 3 times, of course, you get the number 666. Okay, that's the only difference between Ionian and Lydian, is that raised fourth degree. So here's how it sounds. There's something so magical about that sound. So I'm going to type in here, we got E Lydian. And the chord progression for E Lydian is really something special. E is the first chord. And then we're just going to move that shape over a whole step. It gives me chills every time I hear that. This is a very common mode that you'll hear in movies, by the way. And now that I'm thinking about it, if you listen to songs like Dream Theater's The Count of Tuscany, you'll hear this mode in action. So let's listen to this for a minute. We'll just put it on a short loop and see if you can catch a vibe. Just meditate to that for like 69 minutes straight. Really special sounding mode. Okay, I'm going to go back and copy the template for the major scale, and we're going to go to mode number 5, which is Mixolydian. Now, Mixolydian, the core feature is it's just like a regular major scale. It's got that major third, but here's the clincher. It's got the flat 7, and this really injects like a good time into the mix. This mode is the official mode of classic rock. If you've ever listened to songs like Boston's More Than a Feeling or pretty much anything by AC/DC, Highway to Hell, you're going to hear this Mixolydian magic in action. So let's type in Mixolydian. Okay, good. Now let's listen to it over the drone. That's a really cool sound. And like I said, it's kind of hard to find a classic rock song that doesn't use the Mixolydian mode. And the core harmony for Mixolydian, there's 2 chords involved, and one of them is the 1 chord E, and the next is the flat 7, which is D. Let's see, that might be a little bit thick. Yeah, let me actually take that A out. This will be a little bit cleaner here. Let's check it out. Really cool sound. Yeah, give this one a try if you want to solo over any classic rock song. I'm just going to put these chords in here again. Good. Oh, we ran out of drone, so let me get my drone going again. Gotta have the drone zone. Okay, now we're moving on to mode number 6, and I want to get a minor scale here. Let's take Dorian to show you the key differences. Now, E minor scale or E Aeolian, those two are the same thing. There's 2 modes that have interchangeable terms. You have Ionian and major are the same thing, and then Aeolian and minor are the same thing. So you have a flat 3rd degree, and you have a flat 6th degree. Those are the core tendency tones. So we're going to go E Aeolian here. And this is a really beautiful, reflective, sorrowful mode that you might hear in Iron Maiden's Fear of the Dark. Oh, never gets old. There's a really sort of haunting tension there that's just pure incredibleness. Now what I'm going to do is outline the primary chord progression for Aeolian. We're going to start with that E minor. Then let's see, let's do something like this. This is going to sound really rich. And then we'll go up to D here, and then we go back to the E minor. So what we have in total here is that E minor, C, this is D, and then we're back to E minor. So let's check that out. Oh, yes. It's like the official chord progression of Iron Maiden. This mode is just great. You could also use this for a medieval sound if you wanted. Man, that's good. Just climbs back up to that tonic. Each chord sort of leads into the next with that pregnant tension. Okay, we've come to the last scale. And the last scale is the most evil and dissonant and uncommon of all the scales. I'm talking about Locrian, or as they say from across the pond, Locrian. Now, to make a scale that's normally minor Locrian, what you do is you flat the 2nd degree. So I went from an F sharp to an F. And here we go. What you're going to do is flat the 5th degree. And that's going to give us the devil in music interval again. Listen to this bad boy. Oh, yeah. Give it to me. The chord progression for this guy is it's just a half diminished 7th chord. So what we do, let's see, I'm actually going to take that up and then flat it so that we're enharmonically correct there. This chord is really tense. It's not something that's going to feel resolved when you end a song on. So keep that in mind. Locan is just that way. It's just all bitter, no sweet. So listen to this chord. Yeah, I mean it's a great sounding chord. It's a perfect way to create an archetype of tension and release in a song. So think about using Locan as a bridge to sort of introduce some kind of plot twist in your music. But you may not want to hang there the whole time unless you want people to actually listen to your music. Now there you have it. That's all of the modes. You've got the scale and its emotional quality with the tendency tones, and then you have the primary chords. This is very, very important to connect the harmony with the melody. And you might be asking, now how does Shred come up with these crazy chords? And the basic answer to your question, it's a little bit more complicated than this, but the basic idea to get a chord from a scale is to play every other note. So if you start on the root, that's an E, go to the 3rd, and then skip the next note, go to the 5th. That gives you E, G sharp, and B. And that spells our first chord here, E major. So that's the general idea. And if you're interested in my Riff Lore Challenge class, book a free call with me. I'd love to talk about your musical background and your goals.